Take you out of, I wanna show you off. Take you out of, take you out of.
Welcome everyone. In this video we are going to learn how to make a Parasite Wisp. So this is the name I've coined for it, and it's really neat. It's complicated, but I can promise you it's something extremely cool. So we're going to show off the first setup, which is this one right here. And this requires a coup to summon it, and the reason I do it with a coup is because I don't want to have to teleport away from a spell that's boomerang stuck on me and stuff like that. It does work with invisibility as well, so if you don't have a coup and you have boomerang, then you can do that, and you just have to wait for your invisibility to kick in. If you don't know how an Wisp works right now, I would definitely go check out the other video I made on it, and it'll go into detail on what this process is doing. This is a really complicated build, so I'll try and show it in a more basic sense, but for right now we're going to summon this one and see what it does. So we'll hop over here and we'll fire this in the water real quick. Okay, I think that was long enough. So this bubble spark shouldn't be lasting that long, but since it's paired with Tentacle Timer and Tentacle, it's lasting extremely long. So the double spell isn't needed. I was going to show that off with all these other spells. So let's actually take off everything we don't need. So the double spell, obviously, we don't need the drilling shot for this setup, and we need piercing because that makes all the magic work, and we're also going to need light shot to make sure that it doesn't murder us. And then increased duration, we can probably get one off without increased duration. See, it just disappeared, but that's only because we held it on us for, I want to say, about 3 seconds. So the longer you hold it on to you, the longer lifetime it'll have. So let's do this again. Oh, so with this setup, since it doesn't have drilling on it, if it touches a wall or anything, it'll just not work. So we want to try and catch it before it touches a wall. There we go. Well, I definitely prefer Energy Orb as a trigger, but any trigger will work for this setup. So this is literally all you need. If you wanted to make a Parasite Wisp, this is the only things you need, and it's extremely neat. So this is pretty much infinite. If we want to increase its lifetime, we just run into it. Obviously this was done with a coup, so we could just yank it into ourselves and make it last even longer, but I don't want to do that because it was hard capturing it and making sure it just stayed right there. So if we wanted to add more to this, the reason I add drilling is stated before, so that it can like hit the ground and not become useless. And then we're going to throw increased duration on. You can do this with Ping Pong Path. Anything that adds lifetime to this will give you a higher chance of success, but you don't even need this. I just do it because it makes it a lot easier on myself. And then we're going to throw on, what are we missing? Oh, we just scooted it over a little bit. And then we're going to do a double spell right before this. This needs to be on here for a Parasite Wisp to work. And then let's, I'm feeling some Spitter Bolt. But you know what? We're going to throw a timer and a Spitter Bolt on there. So this spell block right here is going to keep infinitely summoning, as well as this one right here. And since we have the drilling shot on this, we can just fire it into the ground. Oh, that one we didn't catch. Sometimes the tentacles will yeet it off into a certain direction, and that's to be expected when you're dealing with tentacles. There we go. And it's a lot easier to fire it into the side of stuff, because then it won't fly off when you boomerang it with your coup. So if it relaxes for a second, we'll drop our coup. I don't think it'll have any chill. There we go. So if we were to touch this, then it'll do all the stuff we want it to do, which is fantastic. And then it's gonna yeet itself into the complete other direction. So you can do this with any spell you want. You can make any spell unlimited. So we do have one down here, and I'll show that off in a second with heal. So normally you have only 20 heals, but since we're going to be using this, it'll make unlimited heals. But we'll show that off in a second. So with this build, you do have to take into consideration spell blocks. So if you were to, let's say you wanted to reduce the lifetime of these to possibly get an infinite, if we threw a reduced lifetime on here, this will not work properly. And that's because it's all in the same spell block, and these tentacles are also getting this reduced lifetime. So if I cast this now, I'll cast it from the side as well. Oh, we lost it. Let's do another one. And you do have to wait for drilling shot to take effect, and that's usually a few wand lengths away. I'm probably like right here. Oh, I'll get one. See, that one didn't work. And that's because we have this reduced lifetime. So in order to make it work, you have to throw it after a timer, a trigger, or a long distance cast, or anything that breaks a spell block. So anything that breaks a spell block will only apply the modifiers to the next spell. So this one will work. If I can get one. And we can see that the pink is only there for half a second. And then we'll just let them be. So yeah, it's really, really, really neat. I love this so much. And it's funny because I came up with it because LePunk came up with a Tentakel, or is what I've called it. And he had a bunch of tentacle timers. I think he had 11 just stacked on each other with a tentacle at the end. And when he hit an enemy with it, the tentacle timer spawns, it has like a built-in piercing, so it spawned a bunch of tentacles, but then he was left with a tentacle that was just following him around. So I wanted to come up with something like that. I still haven't been able to, and I don't know how to replicate it without 11 tentacle with timers, but maybe I'll be able to find out. And then we came up with this masterpiece. So what else do we want to show off? We can do it with a trigger. We'll do something like this. And you know what? I'm going to swap these around because as much as I like Bubble Spark, it's a little obnoxious. I like my orb more. It's so much easier to use. And you can make this beautiful creation. And then if we just want to make him attack, let's say we had homing on here, we could have thrown homing on here, and we could have thrown like a long distance cast with a reduced lifetime on this, make this infinite, have it follow us around. It's amazing what you can do. I'm doing this on 13 capacity wands to show that, like, hey, you don't need that many slots to do anything like this. And what a fantastic setup. So let's just jump into this. Ooh, let's just jump into this. And as long as we touch it, it'll spawn stuff. Oh, what a fantastic build. So this is the one I was using in the intro. So these 3 chainsaws right here are doing all the work and killing everything. Oh, it's fantastic. But since we don't have any enemies here, it won't do it too much. But I wanted to show it off because I bet everyone's curious on why it was killing everything before we even came in contact with it. So I've coined it the Parasite build for a reason. And that reason is because you can do it without light shot. Is it smart? No, not really. Is it cool? You know it. With this build, you notice that we don't have light shot on, and that's to give the true definition of a Parasite build. So it has increased duration, piercing, drilling on this spark bolt with double trigger. So the double trigger is going to cast the Tentakel, and then it's going to cast this long distance cast. And this spell block right here is here to summon a infinite healing projectile. And this has a 6.6% chance of summoning. So let's get that built. You notice we only have 100 health, so hopefully we get it. So, we got one, but I may have miscalculated how strong our Parasite build was. So, might want to do it with a little more than 100 health when you're trying to make an infinite. However, if you do get one, this infinite will last forever. Now that we've spawned back in, I bet you're telling yourself, hey, Nymphs, that's a terrible build. It just murdered you. Yeah, well, that was just due to miscalculations. I have done it with 100 health, and I'm actually going to show it off right now. That if we were to make this in the simplest, a Parasite Wisp with healing, let's do that right now. So we're going to take all this off. You know what? Let's take off long distance cast as well. And let's do all this. So this is a very basic, well, I say very basic. It's, you know what? We can do it with even less. Let's say this is the only stuff you found. We don't even need this drilling. Look at me. I can take almost everything off of this wand. So let's get this Parasite Wisp made, and let's get back to full health. So we do need drilling on it, unfortunately. So I will throw that one back on. Since it touched the ground, it no longer works. It still hurts because of piercing, but it's kind of a bad wisp. So we'll send them to the void. So since we took a little bit of damage from it, let's make one that actually is an infinite. All right, there we go. We let it hit us for a few seconds, so pretty much if we ever get low on health, we just walk up to this. We can even, well, we can't really step on it. We'd have to use our coup. So let's use our coup. And then this is going to keep healing us. All right. And I think it's time for the big finale. So this wand, I used every single slot in it, and I wanted to create something pretty glorious. So this isn't very practical, nor is it very easy to obtain. I think I would be able to make one with my 100% run, but I think I'm still missing probably an increased duration. But yeah, so let's just summon this. So, Nola Games, take note. This is what I want fireworks to look like. Let's see if we can get a different color. Oh, we gotta reset. So, kind of made the cast delay 777 because I thought it'd be funny, but that's a lot of time to wait. Everyone have a wonderful evening, noon, and night. Goodbye.